We find ourselves here, at the beginning. Another tale, another chapter.
Didn't expect to see you here.
I turned in a slow circle, taking everything in. The room was decorated in lavish fashion, from ancient Greek to the dynastic Chinese eras. There were flowing purple sashes, wrapped spiraling around stone pillars topped with exquisite ceramics, hand-painted in tedious detail. The room, if I could call it a room, was large enough for the gathering, but the invitations seemed to have been quite selective. Finally, I finished my observation and faced the speaker directly. It wore a humanoid form, but looking at it gave me a feeling of churning seas. I Beluvic. It has been a surprisingly short time since we have seen each other. Why would you have thought I would not have attended? I asked.
Most of us didn't take you for the sentimental type,
the Inuit sea god said. For a moment I considered answering it truthfully, but thought better of it. Sentimentality has nothing to do with it. The malice was important to all of us.
It was indeed.
Another voice from across the room growled. The sound was as though concrete dropped from a great height and shattered into dust. Grunde, it is good to see you, I said, and tipped my head towards the dark celestial. Three of her heads nodded back while her last kept watch behind her. It was an excellent strategy, considering the present company. I turned my attention to the centerpiece of the gathering, a large stone sarcophagus carved with the runes of our language, and a bas-relief of the being's form in life, complete with the jade crown for which he was known. There was power hovering over the sarcophagus, black and oily and sizzling in the air. It waited for the wake to begin, and for our subsequent deliberations as to who would take up its mantle. In death, the Malice Bastion looked insignificant, but I knew it better, and had known others in other worlds who had held their own wakes for their own Melusai, their words I kept safely contained in my tomes, in my charts, and my memories. Everyone, including me, felt a change in the air, a presence lifting the curtain on the morose gathering. We all filed past the sarcophagus on its small plinth, and moved out from between the pillars behind it. There was a damp, foggy forest clearing past the surrounding torchlight outside the tomb. The circle of white aspens hemmed in the group of entities as ancient and primal as the earth itself. Hathor, Set, Thoth, Osiris, and Anubis kept their heads low and hands clasped in front of them in quiet respect. I pressed my hands together and tilted my head at them, returning the gesture. On the opposite side, the Tuatha Dé, with the hunt boiling in their blood, held murmuring conversation among themselves. I knew they envied the positions of some other pantheons present, not out of greed, but of fear, and the need to consolidate their power. They, like the lost angels, courtiers of pestilence, and their heralds knew of the mortis maledictum, and knew to be afraid. The gathering completed their words, speaking to the Malice Bastion's sacrifice and its eternal duty. I knew the time had arrived to select the next Melusai, and there were many here who could take up its mantle. And from the tomes and charts bequeathed to me by my predecessors, I knew none of them held the strength to stand against the mortis maledictum. They too knew it, and so none volunteered themselves. The mantle of power did not wait longer, and once the wake's last words shuttered to silence and dark, it descended and chose.
And thus, the story is ended. The tale told. The chapter closed.